Okay, this time we will discuss how to multiply vectors with scalars. Now for vectors, meron tayong tatlong multiplication. One of it is multiplying yung vector with a scalar quantity. Tapos for multiplying vectors with vectors, meron tayong dalawang kinds ng multiplication which we'll discuss in a later video. But this time, let's say you have a vector v, tapos gusto mong mag-multiply ng scalar. Let's say ito yung scalar natin, c. Now, what you will get if you multiply a vector with a scalar, you will actually get another vector. Now, ano yung properties ng vector na makuha mo by multiplying itong vector na ito and this scalar here? Now, by multiplying the scalar, it will change yung magnitude ng ating vector. So, your new magnitude now, magnitude ng vector p, which is the product, is simply equal to the absolute value ng scalar mo multiplied doon sa magnitude ng vector mo. So, ito yung mangyayari sa magnitude after we multiplied yung scalar. Now, depending on the value ng ating scalar, it will also affect yung direction ng ating vector. So, just a guide here, if our scalar is positive, then yung direction ng product mo will be the same sa direction ng ating original vector, which is v. Kung positive, same lang siya ng direction. Now, if yung scalar na minultiply natin is negative, then the direction will now be reversed. So to illustrate this, let's suppose we have this vector here, vector v. Now, what if we multiply a scalar dito sa vector na ito? Let's say, nag-multiply tayo ng 2. Okay? So you have 2, which is a scalar, minultiply natin sa vector v. What happens? Ano yung itsura ng product natin na vector? Now, like what we said, your magnitude nung bagong vector mo would simply be the absolute value ng scalar times the magnitude nung ating vector. Now, for this arrow, ang magnitude natin is the length. Gaano kahaba yung arrow na ito for this vector. So, pag nag-multiply tayo ng 2 sa kanya, you get the absolute value of 2, that is simply 2. Ibig sabihin, madodoble yung length ng ating arrow. So, yung magnitude ng bago nating vector will be twice, no, or 2 times nung magnitude ng vector na original. Now, since the scalar that we multiplied is positive, then the direction should be the same. Therefore, our 2v na vector should look like this arrow here. So, same direction, pero yung magnitude is multiplied by that scalar, which is 2. Now, let's say gusto natin i-multiply ang negative 1/2, multiply natin sa vector v. So again, how does this scalar affect yung magnitude ng ating vector? You simply multiply yung absolute value ng scalar na yon sa magnitude nito. So our magnitude originally is this length here. Tapos multiply natin siya ng absolute value. That is absolute value ng 1/2, or that would be 1/2. So 1/2 times this length. So the magnitude of our new vector should be half nung length natin kanina. Okay, so yan yung magnitude. Now, for the direction, since our scalar is negative, di ba? Negative 1/2, now the direction ng ating new vector is reversed. So, it will be pointing doon sa opposite direction. Okay, so negative 1/2 v will look like this vector here. Okay, so yun yung idea. We get the absolute value ng ating scalar and then multiply that to the magnitude ng ating vector. Tapos if the scalar is positive, same lang yung direction. If the scalar is negative, magre-reverse yung direction ng ating vector. Now, let's try applying this to some examples. So say you have these two vectors here. So as a guide, lagyan natin ng axis dito and just show you our directions. So north is upward, east is to the right, west to the left, and south downward. Now, for the first part, gusto nating malaman ano yung value ng vector if we multiply 2.3 sa ating vector A. So how do we do this? Now, simply get yung absolute value ng ating scalar, that is 2.3. That is still the same, 2.3 yung kanyang absolute value. And multiply that dun sa magnitude ng ating vector. So the magnitude of vector A is 11. Multiply lang tayo ng 2.3. That will be yung magnitude ng 2.3 times A. So let's do that. So 2.3 times 11. So we should have 25.3 inches. Yun yung magnitude ng ating 2.3A. Okay? So yan yung magnitude niya. Now what happens with the direction? Now since positive yung ating scalar, so it should get the same direction as our A. So west, same lang dapat. So dapat west din yung direction. So this is now your 2.3 times A. That is 25.3 inches west. Okay? Now, how about if we multiply 0.47 dun sa ating vector A? So again, let's multiply yung absolute value nitong ating scalar dito. That is negative 0.47. So we'll only take yung positive 0.47. And then we multiply it dun sa magnitude ni A. So that would be 0.47. Again, absolute value lang. Multiply natin by 11. So we should get 5.17. So that is 5.17 inches. No? So we'll take yung same na unit kasi nag-multiply lang naman tayo ng scalar. So 5.17 inches. So ito yung kanyang magnitude. Now for the direction, if ang ating scalar is negative, which is it is, no? Negative siya. So magre-reverse ngayon yung direction niya. So ang original direction is west. Ang reverse ng west would be east. So this time, this vector will take the direction of east. Okay? So east na yung direction niya. Okay, ganun lang kadali. Okay? Let's try another one. What if we have 1/3 times our vector b? Okay, so again, the magnitude is simply multiplying yung absolute value nito. Absolute value ng 1/3 is also 1/3. Tapos let's multiply that sa magnitude ni b. Ang magnitude ni b is 19 inch. So let's do that. 1/3 times 19. So you should have 6.33. 6.33 inches. Now, what happens to the direction? Now, since positive yung ating scalar, so it should take the same direction. So we'll simply copy yung direction ng vector b, that is 56 degrees east of north. So that is 56. Okay, so that's how you multiply 1/3 dun sa ating vector b. Lastly, let's try this one. If we multiply negative 57b, so again, for the magnitude, just simply get the absolute value of this. So that is 57. Multiply natin sa magnitude ni b, which is 19. So let's do that. 57 times 19. So you have 1,083. So kung mag 3 significant figures tayo, that would be 1,080. So 1,080, the unit, pareho lang dito sa 19, no? It is inches. So we'll take also inches. Now, what happens to the direction? Now, since yung ating scalar is negative, dapat mag-reverse yung ating direction. Now, to do that, draw natin yung ating vector b, that is 56 degrees east of north. So we'll start from north, tapos punta tayo sa east by 56 degrees. So para siyang ganito. Okay, so this will be your vector b, and this is 56 degrees. Now, to reverse that direction, ang itsura niya, nung arrow na reverse ang direction, is ganito. Now, from your trigonometry, whatever the angle here, should be the same angle here as well. So if this is 56, so if this is 56 degrees, then this should also be 56 degrees. Okay? So that is 56 degrees as well. So ano nang tawag sa direction na ito? So you started from south papuntang west. So this should be west of south. Same angle, 56 degrees west of south. So let's write that. 56 degrees west of south. Na may interesting thing dito. In order to reverse yung direction ng ating original vector, which is 56 degrees east of north, what do we observe here? East yung nauna, tapos yung nauna dito sa ating reverse na direction is west. So parang ni-reverse mo lang yung first direction. East, ginawa mong west. Tapos yung second naman, north, ni-reverse mo din siya, naging south. So ang reverse ng east of north is west of south. Parang finlip mo lang din yung each direction. So you get the same thing and you do not change yung angle. So that's how you multiply vectors with scalar quantities.